They are outraged that Haason Reddick so-called lied to the New York Jets, but they're begging Jalen Hurts to lie to the fans. One way or the other, the truth will set you free. And I say, void the trade with Haason Reddick and set him free. Dallas still stinks. Void the trade. Void the trade. Void the trade. Yo, by the way, kick Dingbat here. So it now looks like that Jalen Hurts doesn't, in fact, like Nick Sirianni as head coach, or he's not happy about him, or something. We know this now for sure, not because of what Jalen Hurts said at his press conference. It's because the Eagles leaked out that they were not happy, and they leaked it out on purpose, basically spilling the beans to all their business, ending any speculation, and really making you ask a lot of questions, not just about Jalen Hurts, but also about what happened to Haason Reddick and why the need to keep Nick Sirianni protected at all costs when he was the head coach of the most epic collapse in the history of the NFL. Well, maybe the history of the NFL. History of the Eagles for sure. All right, now listen, I hate talking about this stuff. I hate it. I'd rather be talking about the roster. I'd rather be talking about camp battles, possible trades, ways to get better. But we're stuck talking about this stuff because it keeps getting worse and worse. And more things are kind of coming out. And I think that happens when you have things at the end of the year, like what happened to the Eagles, and then you just avoid talking about it. Eventually this stuff surfaces, okay? Now, I did a video yesterday or 2 days ago on Jalen Hurts and his comments that everybody was upset about. To me, I stand by what I said, and I know that a lot of people don't agree with me. Most people don't agree with me, but that's fine. My interpretation of what Jalen Hurts said was simply this. He was not trying to trash Nick Sirianni publicly, but he also wasn't trying to be a liar. And because he didn't lie, the media has a problem with it. They're actually upset he's not lying enough. And then when he lies, they love it. And then what do? They'll protect it at all costs. They'll protect the lie, but they won't give you the truth. And to me, when Jalen Hurts responded to those comments, and we've read it and we've talked about it over and over again, he wasn't trying to throw Nick Sirianni under the bus. He just wasn't trying to lie either. And because the Eagles knew what he really was thinking or really felt about Nick Sirianni, they flipped out and they spilled the beans when they didn't have to. If they just would have kept quiet, the whole thing would have been talked about a few more days and it would have been over. It was just speculation for the most part. But after the Eagles coming out and saying what they said, there's no other way to interpret it as, yeah, in fact, he does have issues with Nick Sirianni as head coach. I'm not saying as a human being or a person, he may like him personally, but obviously there's an issue. But the only reason that we can know that is because of what the Eagles said. Because of what the Eagles said, the front office said, and what they leaked out. The Eagles leaked it out. This is what they do. They leak it out. And you know how you know that they did is because when Howard ESKINS starts speaking, right, and talking, he is talking about how now, if Jalen Hurts isn't careful, the Eagles are going to Carson Wentz him. Really, they're going to Carson Wentz him. Because why? He told his honest opinion about something. He didn't even really tell his honest opinion. He just tried to avoid it. He tried to avoid it without lying and tried to move on. I don't blame Jalen Hurts at all. I think it was a gotcha question, and I think however he answered it, this was going to be the narrative that was taken. The issue that made it really bad was that the Eagles were leaking out that they were upset by his comment. Just if they would have let it die or said Jalen Hurts loves Nick Sirianni or whatever, it would have been over. Okay, if they would have lied, everybody, all the media would have ran to basically protect their lie. And so, to me, it's crazy. And let's just say this for argument's sake. So what? Let's say Jalen Hurts did want to say, just for argument's sake, I don't think he did. I don't think I think he knew he was in a gotcha question, and he was trying to basically not be a liar, but not throw Nick Sirianni under the bus at the same time, okay? But let's say he was just, for argument's sake, let's say Jalen Hurts was saying, yeah, I don't like him, that's the way it is, whatever. Let's just say it. Why is that a bad thing? I would much rather have my players be honest. I, as a fan who listens to these guys' press conference, has a channel talking about all this stuff, I would rather them be honest and tell us the truth than lie. But you have media people literally on the radio talking about just lie. You should have lied. He should have lied and said something that way we could move on. They want you to be lied to. They want you to be lied to. It's crazy to me. I would rather have Jalen Hurts tell the truth. I would rather have him be honest. Now, I think Jalen Hurts probably should have said, I'm not going to answer that question. It's a gotcha question. So, that would have probably actually been twisted too. So no matter what he said, like I said, they were going to talk about this. This was going to be a narrative. But with the Eagles opening up and talking about this and saying that they were upset, and now Howard Eskin running his mouth, now you know for certain that Jalen Hurts has an issue with Nick Sirianni as a head coach. And it really makes you wonder, why? Why are the Eagles protecting Nick Sirianni at all costs? Why to such levels, okay? Listen, I would understand if the Eagles were upset if Jalen Hurts came out and trashed Nick Sirianni. I think that would be uncalled for. As a leader and a franchise quarterback, I don't think you should go out and trash him openly, publicly. Behind closed doors, perfectly acceptable. But openly, he shouldn't. But he didn't do that. He just simply didn't lie. And they wanted him to lie profusely to you so that they could move on. And the media, by them complaining and crying about it, they wanted you to be lied to too. And it's ridiculous. And like I said, why are they protecting Nick Sirianni this much? Is it because they know if they would have fired Nick Sirianni, they would be looked at as like, look at this team firing another coach, just took you to the Super Bowl. They fired Doug Peterson. Now they're firing him. So it was because they didn't want to be embarrassed. But for whatever reason, Jalen Hurts probably told him, yeah, I think we probably should have moved on from a coach. And it didn't work out that way. And so now we're in this situation. And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing I don't get. Why did they trade Haason Reddick? Did they really trade Haason Reddick over the fact that he wants a new contract? I mean, who trades a guy that gets double-digit sacks 4 straight years in a row? 3 of which came on different teams. He was your best defensive player, your number 1 closer. Now we get reports that Haason Reddick was moved in part because of his relationship with Nick Sirianni, that there was the beef where they kind of blew up at each other. I think Nick was yelling at him during one of the games, and so he didn't like Nick Sirianni that much. Could that be one of the reasons why they got rid of Haason Reddick? And it's also funny to me that we sit there and we pick, or the media picks and choose what to be offended by in terms of lies. They think Jalen Hurts should lie, but they think but they think in their outrage by Haason Reddick, quote, lying. ML Football wrote this. Breaking. Haason Reddick allegedly lied to the Pound Jets per SI Now. Before he was traded to the team, he, quote, gave his word that no matter what, he would attend off-season camp. ESPN notes that he noticed Bryce Huff and John Franklin Myers were no longer with the team, so he had leverage. He knew that they weren't with the team when he got traded, before he got traded, because Huff was technically on the roster at the same time. According to Rich Cimini, Reddick gave his word to the New York Jets before the trade from the Eagles. Reddick was also okay with the Jets' stance on the contract. And basically the Jets were telling him that their stance was, we aren't going to shut the door on an extension, but we'd rather wait until the season is over. Have a great season, and you will cash in big time. If not with us, then somewhere else. So they now say Reddick lied. Reddick lied. Everybody's outraged. The media's outraged. How could Reddick lie? Blah, 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 blah. But Jalen Hurts, you should have lied. You should be a liar. No, I'm glad Jalen Hurts didn't lie. I didn't. And if they want, and to me, I think if the Jets are that upset about him lying and they think he lied, then go to the commissioner. Get him to void the trade. I'm all for voiding the trade. Let's void that trade. Let's send a late pick at 2026 back, and let's bring Reddick back to the Eagles. This will be a major upgrade at your edge rusher. It will give you tremendous depth, and we will be okay. I love this idea. So I'm all for voiding the trade. I think the Jets were lied to. Outrageous. I'm outraged. We should void the trade. Void it. Send them back to Philly. Well, they won't. Why? Was it because of the contract? No. Is it because of Nick Sirianni? Maybe. You've got to wonder what the hell is going on. I thought Reddick thing was about the contract. I now really wonder if it's about the relationship with Reddick and Sirianni. You got to wonder. For whatever reason, the Eagles seem like they don't want any negativity with Nick Sirianni. They don't. And Jalen Hurts, what he said wasn't negative. He didn't trash the guy. He just didn't lie. He didn't even want to answer the question. He was trying to think, and Jalen Hurts thinks about all the questions he asks. He was trying to avoid trashing Nick Sirianni because he has an issue with him. But that would have been pure speculation if the Eagles didn't leak it out that they were upset by his response. I think asking and wanting players to lie to the fans and to the media wanting the fans to be lied to is crazy to me. It's crazy to me, and it's backwards. It's ass backwards. So to me, I have tremendous respect for Jalen Hurts, and for him not wanting to be a liar. I do. I really do. And I think the Eagles front office, I think they blew. Listen, and the front office has done a lot of good things. They have done a lot of great things this offseason. They have put a team that is capable of winning a Super Bowl. They have gotten a lot of good players. They had a good draft. They have done a really good job. But for whatever reason, they're overly sensitive about Nick Sirianni and the situation. And when you have people like Howard Eskin going out there saying that if he's not careful, they're going to Carson Wentz him. And basically, it's like trash fest. Be negative on Jalen Hurts right now. It's okay. I don't understand it. Jalen Hurts isn't perfect. All right, Jalen Hurts has things that he has to get better on the field. I do think that he sulked on the sideline. I do think at times sitting by himself, looking disengaged, was not a good look. I do think he has to work on some of those things and leadership qualities. There's nothing wrong with that. He's got to work on it. I believe he will. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be held to a very high standard. We're not the Dallas Cowboys. We are not going to say, oh, great season, but the postseason doesn't matter. Playoffs don't matter. They only matter when we want to win an argument. No. Jalen Hurts has to go out and have a good year. He has to go out and be effective. He has to improve in the areas that he was bad last year. And you know what? I think he will. I have all the confidence that he will. But this Nick Sirianni thing is, if anything is going to mess up this team this year, if you ask me what's the number one thing that I worry about with everything, it's this Nick Sirianni situation. If your franchise quarterback wasn't happy about the coach coming back, why did you bring him back? Or, didn't he have a say? And if Jalen Hurts really likes Nick Sirianni and there's no problem, why would you allow those things to leak out? See, here's the thing. Those things don't get leaked out by the Eagles, okay, unless the Eagles want that leaked out. And you know it, the tell is Howard Eskin. Howard Eskin starts saying things like that. He knows he's got permission to. It's just the way it is. I think Jalen Hurts, I think that I'm glad that he doesn't want to lie to you. I'm glad that he's not trying to lie, that he's trying to go out and do the best he can. He was not trying to trash Nick Sirianni. He wasn't throwing him under the table. He was just simply trying to not get caught up in a gotcha question without lying. He was trying to not get in a gotcha question without lying. The Haason Reddick situation is, you got to wonder, did the Eagles really let this guy go because they didn't want to give him a contract? He still had 1 year on his deal. He had still 1 year on his deal, and if he was willing to play that 1 year, why would you get rid of him? I don't know. And, the Jets were told by Reddick that he wasn't going to hold up, that he wasn't going to do any of the things. Now he's going back on his word. Well, why? Why did he? Did he plan to do that? Did something happen? I mean, we don't know. But I think if Reddick is an Eagle still, I don't think this is an issue. And I really wonder how much the relationship with Nick Sirianni and Haason Reddick affected the Eagles trying to trade Reddick. So if the Jets aren't happy, I think the Jets should file a grievance with the NFL and say that they were lied to and they made a trade based on false assumptions. And let's void the trade and bring Reddick back to Philly 1 more year. Reddick may not be happy. He may be upset at first, but maybe he'll be very motivated to go out and prove the team that tried to trade him that couldn't wrong, and go out and have a huge year and then get paid big money. I hate this whole entire situation. There are so many other things that I want to talk about, but after really hearing the Haason Reddick thing, and then thinking about what the Eagles said, and then when I saw Howard Eskin say what he said today, it was just like, oh yeah, the Eagles just spilled the beans. They spilled the beans, not Jalen Hurts. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision, baby. We're all just living in it.